Hi YouTube, welcome back to my channel. So time to do favourites for January of this year, first month gone, and a bit of kind of December leaking over into January. I thought I'd show you some of the products I've been using a lot and enjoying. Some of them, interestingly, are kind of reconsiderations of products I was perhaps a bit lukewarm about to begin with, but found myself liking more and more. Some of them are from the relatively new collections, although I'm just kind of starting to get to grips with all the items I bought from the spring releases. But hands down, two palettes I've used a lot since I got them in December. The Ellie Goulding palettes. This is the Day palette with the cream colours, and it's just such a useful palette if you travel a lot or work long days and just want to jam something in your handbag, that you can use this kind of peachy cream to touch up your blush, which I find tends to fade. This is a nice little highlight colour either on the cheekbones or around the eyes. Can brighten up the inner corner. And these are two, just very basic cream colours that you can definitely use around the eyes. Now, somebody mentioned to me that they were put off the palette by the fact that the blotting powder wasn't very good. Now, I agree the blotting powder is not very good. I have used it occasionally. It's really, really faint. It's definitely not a finishing powder. I guess maybe it would be useful to blot if you had really oily skin. I kind of doubt it. I definitely don't use that. So from that point of view, it's a waste if you can't bear to buy a product that, has got something in it that you won't use. But to be honest, I just ignore that. Use the top colours. I don't find they crease a lot on my lids. I have relatively oily lids, but I do tend to use these if I'm going to put them on first thing rather than as a touch-up with some powder shadow on top, and I find that lasts reasonably well. And I tend to use, not exclusively, but quite often the other palette, which was the so-called night palette. But basically these colours just work well with the cream colours. That colour there is showing much paler in the monitor. It's quite a salmony pink that you do have to go quite easy with. These three are reasonably pigmented. That one, the glitter, not so much, but they work very well, either with other eye creams for a basic eye look or with the other palette. And underneath there's this, I guess, a face kind of cream colour. It's quite pretty, but I haven't really used that a lot. I kind of forget about it as well. So hands down, although they don't look as if I've used them a super amount, I have used them quite a lot. They're really useful products, and I believe both are still available, certainly on the MAC website. Couple of products from the Dior spring range definitely earning their keep. Primarily this highlighting powder, the Nude Air Glowing Gardens illuminating powder. I had it in 01, the pink. There's also a warmer gold coloured one. I know a lot of people have bought both of them. Really nice quality, compact to have in your handbag. Gorgeously pretty engraving, and I've just used this a lot. I actually use it as a finishing powder because I like me a bit of glow, and I work with a soft brush all over the face with this, and it just kind of blurs and illuminates a bit. But if you want to use it more full on as a highlighter, then you concentrate it with a stiffer brush or fingers, and it works as well. I've used this a lot. It's kind of I'm not going to say my favourite highlighter of all time. It's not, but it's my favourite at the moment. Definitely using it a lot. Also from the Dior collection, I like these dual contour and colour pens. I know they've not been everyone's taste. Some people have found that they actually irritate their eyes. I have quite sensitive eyes, wear contact lenses, and I haven't found that, so I'm happy. I've got them in this one in two colours. This is the one I've been using the most, an unusual combo for me. It's very light pink, as I'll be showing you with the other colours. I've kind of been all about lilacs and pinks recently, kind of going into spring. Use this just to brighten up around the eye with some darker powder shadow. And I really like the liners. I love the Chanel Stilos, as you know. These are a thicker bullet, which I actually find a bit easier to manipulate. So I'm quite enjoying this purple one. I've also got a more kind of boring taupe brown one, which I'm sure I will use a lot, but I'm actually favouring this at the moment because I have been kind of all about the purples and lilacs and plums, which is a bit unusual for me. As I've said before in recent favourites, I've totally got into the Burberry cream eyeshadows at the moment. I've nearly got through the first one that I bought in about October. They're not as densely pigmented as some of the other creams. They're really easy to work with. This one I haven't nearly got through, but I have been using a fair bit. What's this called? Plum Damson? Damson. So beautiful. I don't know if you can get the way the different pigments show there. And it's still, not too densely pigmented. So actually when you put it on the eye, it shows almost like a slightly plummy taupe. Such a pretty shade and really, really easy to work with. Been loving that. And as some of you might be wondering, if you had bought the Rouge Noir Illusion d'Ombre before Christmas, how similar they are. You can see the Rouge Noir definitely is darker and redder than the kind of more plummy one. And it's definitely a lot more pigmented. So I find I have to go a bit easier with that. Definitely for a more dramatic look. I like both of them, but I haven't been using the Rouge Noir very much since Christmas. I find it's more of an evening look for me, whereas this Damson I can shade out and get away for a sultry but day-appropriate look. I don't know why I'm showing you this in a sense, because you can't still get it. This is an old Victoria's Secret. I really loved their single eyeshadows. They only did them for about 2 seasons and completely discontinued. I don't know why, because they were really good quality and very reasonably priced. This is showing up bluer in the monitor than it is in real life. And honestly, it's like fairy dust. Just so, so pretty. And so I've been using that, it's not showing up very well there, packed on over those creams and with various purple eyeliners. I've also got the new lilac quad from Tom Ford. I'm not going to show that in this one because I've got quite a lot to say about the new quads now that I've tried them a bit more. But I have been using that. I will say that I haven't been loving my 2 new quads as much as some of the old ones. And I don't know, it's sod's law, isn't it? You spend all that money on a new one and then it makes you look at the ones you've already got. And I actually pulled out, I hadn't worn it for ages, Cognac Sable. Did a look with it, pairing it with one of the new eye creams. This is Burnished Copper. And I can't tell you the number of people who complimented how I was looking. And so I've worn this a couple of times since. I'm showing you this now because it's now discontinued to make room for the new Tom Ford quads. But I know Harrods still had some backstock available. Selfridges hasn't. But you may be able to pick them up on individual counters elsewhere or on eBay. I think Cognac Sable is one of the most both usable and interesting of the combinations, and it's a shame it's being discontinued. It'd be just gorgeous on green-eyed girls. I like it a lot. The new eye creams, going to say more about them elsewhere. I'm a bit disappointed. Not only smaller, I definitely think the consistency is different. It's much, much closer now to the Charlotte Tilbury, i.e. less pigmented, less creamy. More to say elsewhere. Disappointed. Not disappointed with this Lips and Boys Drake. Sold out in the initial run. Now you can get it again. I got mine a few weeks ago and I understand the fuss. It is the most beautiful, wearable, gorgeous pinky plum. Shimmery but not glittery. Just perfect. I highly recommend it if you like plums. Also, Tom Ford range. I was initially quite skeptical about the complexion enhancing primer, but I have been using it a lot more recently. I've taken just to using it in the areas where my pores need attention, i.e. around my chin and nose area, and I find it definitely diminishes the look of pores and helps the makeup over time not to clog in that area. So I am liking that a lot. And I've been wearing Les Beige Healthy Glow foundation pretty consistently in the day since I bought it. I like it. It lasts very well. It's not super coverage, but it stays put. I haven't been loving as much the LA Sunrise collection. The is this, I've got the right one? Yeah. The blush is gorgeous to look at. It's a bit too densely pigmented and vivid for me at the moment. I might like it a bit more in the summer, but you definitely can't complain about the degree of pigmentation. It's definitely there, but it's just the colour's a bit too harsh for me at this time of year. I found myself going back to last year's gorgeous spring number, which I've used a lot, and the flowers are still very definitely the flowers, but it's nice and cool and pretty and goes with the purples I've been rocking. Separate video coming up or already up on the Louboutin, my rethink, having dissed the lipsticks very thoroughly with the first red that I bought. I bought and have been loving Barely There, a nude matte, which is very, very nice indeed. Gives me a beautiful finished, polished look. And I also wasn't initially very enthusiastic about Chanel's Missia when I first tried it. But at this time of year, I'm loving that woody, violety, warm spiciness. And yeah, yummy. I've been wearing this a lot. So I suppose the moral is some of the things that glitter and look fabulous and pretty when you first look at them, you don't kind of get the wear out of them, or don't immediately get the wear out of them if it's the wrong season, and other things kind of grow on you or come into season. So those are the favourites that I've been enjoying for the last month, and I shall speak to you again soon. Bye for now.